by recognizing that we're in the Takshat and Huipachezit territories. And I just want to send a notice to attendees and delegates that this meeting is being recorded and live streamed to YouTube on the Regional District website. And before we get started into the agenda, we're going to go around and do introductions of all the committee members and staff present on the Zoom call. I will start and then I will call you guys out as I see you on my screen. My name is Tanya Shannon. I'm the co-chair for this committee and chairing today because Heather Shobe can't be with us. I'm here on behalf of Shannon Farms as a producer in the Valley. And Kristen, we'll go to you next.
Good morning, Kristen Gordonihue, Administrative Assistant for the ACRD.
Thank you. Amy?
Hello, everyone. I'm Amy Needham, the Sustainability Planner for the Alberni-Clayoquot Regional District, and I am here to give lots of reports and talk a whole bunch about stuff.
Perfect. Fred?
Regional Director for Beaufort. I am a hobby farmer and I represent the farmers of the area.
Thank you. Ione Smith?
Hi, how are you? My name is Ione Smith and I'm a professional agrologist and I'm part of the consulting team working on a couple of projects and here to present today. Nice to meet you all.
Thank you. Tom?
Good morning, Tom O'Donnell, Ministry of Agriculture and Food, North Island Regional Agrologist. I do have a couple updates, but I have to jump to another meeting at 10 a.m. So if we don't get to them, Amy will get emails and I'll put some things in the chat.
Awesome. Thanks,
Good
Tom.
to see everyone.
You too. Lisa?
Good morning. Stonehaven Farm and the Alberni Farmers Institute, and I'm also an area rep for the Small Scale Meat Processors Association. Thanks.
Thank you. Anna's on it.
Hi, no, I'm next. Anna Lewis, and I'm here as the manager of the Alberni Valley Food Security Society. And I will probably lose service in about half an hour, so we'll see. I'll stay on the meeting as long as I can. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for your introductions. We're going to move down to approval of the agenda. If everybody's had a chance to read it, and we will go if anybody would like to move to approve the agenda. Anna? Do I have a seconder? Lisa? Thank you. Do we have any, sorry, I should have asked, do we have any late items that need to be added to the agenda today? Nope. Perfect. First seconded, and anybody against this? We'll go that way because it'll just be easier than everybody throwing their hands up. Perfect. Passed. Thank you. Any declarations from any committee members today? Conflicts of interest? No. Okay. Down to minutes from the Agriculture Development Committee meeting held on June 18th, 2024. We've got a motion here to adopt the minutes from that meeting. If we can have somebody make that motion. Fred, thank you. Seconder? Lisa, thank you. And again, is anybody against this motion? Nope, thank you, passed. Okay, we're moving on to our petitions, delegations, and presentations. And we have Ione here, project manager from the Upland Agriculture Consulting, introducing the Food Security Emergency Planning and Agriculture Wadden Plans project. So Ione, here you go. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Shannon. I'm just gonna share my screen. I did put together a couple of slides and I'll put it into slideshow mode. Can you see that okay? I wanted to right off the bat thank the photographers who got some great photos together for the Our Home, Our Food, Our Resilience. Lisa's on the call today. Thanks, Lisa. So crediting your photo here. I'm not going to take very much of your time, but I did want to provide an update on these two projects that our consulting team is going to be working on over the next year and a half, and provide you with a bit of an overview of what the projects are about, and explain some of the opportunities for engagement and talk about some next steps. So just by way of a little introduction, this is the team. There's 5 of us that are going to be working on these projects. Some of us are going to be working on both projects. Some of us are going to be just working on one project. But myself, Ione, I'll be the project lead for both. My right-hand woman is Caslin Bonner. I've been working with her for about 7 years. Upland Agricultural Consulting was started in 2010. We're based just across from you on the Sunshine Coast in Sechelt. And we've been working on agricultural plans, policies, and bylaws for the last 15 years. We've created over 20 agricultural plans in all 4 corners of the province and have since started working on many agricultural plan updates in various communities. So while we haven't yet worked in the ACRD, we've just completed or in the last steps of completing the Comox Valley Regional Agricultural Plan. We've worked in the Regional District of Nanaimo, District of Saanich, Metchosin, several communities on the island. Jeff Hughes Games is also going to be working with us on both projects. He's an emergency management planning specialist. He's semi-retired from the Ministry of Agriculture, but is still doing some consulting work as well. And then Anna, who you know very well, is going to be working with us on this project, particularly in the realm of engagement, helping with some of the engagement efforts. And then Alan is an engineer, and he's going to be working with us specifically on the water plan project. So that's just a short overview of the key folks who will be working on these projects. Insofar as the food security emergency plan, there's really 2 phases of the project. One, the first phase is focusing on the Alberni Valley. The goals are to meet with as many of those affected, interested in food security emergency planning as possible. So that's not just the agricultural community, but also food security organizations, local government staff, Chamber of Commerce, the Doc Plus, for example. We're really interested in getting a full list of assets and inventory of what there is insofar as the existing food system, and then what gaps exist, and trying to quantify that as much as possible. So for example, last year when Highway 4 was impacted, what would have helped? What would have made things more robust and more resilient for the local food system? And within that scope, we're looking at developing a livestock emergency plan for the valley. And so not just about moving animals in the case of flooding and wildfire, but also accounting for their feed requirements, for example, during supply chain disruptions. And at the end of that phase 1, what we will have is an Alberni Valley Food Security Needs Assessment with a set of recommendations, as well as the livestock emergency plan. And then phase 2 is more the West Coast communities focus. So we're going to be doing some engagement right off the bat, but the real focus of this work will happen in the latter part of 2025. And part of this work is less agriculturally focused and more looking at traditional food systems, looking at more alternative food systems, aquaculture, and exploring opportunities for the different jurisdictions to better collaborate between one another in order for planning for emergencies, specifically with regards to the food system. And so at the end of phase 2, we will have developed a West Coast food security needs assessment along with a set of recommendations there. We are working with interested First Nations communities. At this point, there are about 4 who have identified as being interested. We will be meeting September 5th with the Tushat First Nation Council and presenting to them. And then we are in the process of trying to get on the agenda for the Hupakiseth First Nation Council meeting as well. With regards to the agricultural water plan, the project objectives there are more specific to the Alberni Valley, and specifically also to look at agricultural water needs within the agricultural community and opportunities. So both the supply, the demand, and the current assets, the current infrastructure. We know there's quite a lot of preliminary work that's been done in this area, so we will be looking at being informed, obviously, by those existing reports. We want to engage again with the agricultural community to make sure that we have a really comprehensive understanding of what the key challenges are. We also need to integrate things like climate change projections to look at how drought might be further affecting water needs down the road, and also looking at how changes in land use patterns in terms of agricultural production could also impact water demand as well. For this project, both the Tushat and Hupakiseth First Nations have indicated they would like to be involved, and so we will be consulting with them as well. Now, with regards to engagement, We know that the agricultural community doesn't like to be necessarily over engaged and ask several questions and have several meetings where basically the same questions are coming up again and again. So we're going to do our best to make it efficient and to minimize duplication of effort and really make good use of the agricultural community's time. I already mentioned that we'll be meeting with First Nation communities, but we're hoping to attend as many existing committee meetings, working groups, and events as possible. I will be in Port Alberni the September 5th and 6th, and I'll be attending some of the Fall Fair events that Friday, open to meeting with individuals as well. I will also be back with other members of the consulting team later in the fall, where we hope to do some farm visits, meet with people one-on-one, and really hear from individuals. And we'll be heavily working with the Alberni Farmers Institute. So that's a group that we're hoping to get the word out that if farmers aren't yet involved with the Farmers Institute, to look to that organization as being one of the key liaisons for both of these projects. We're going to be hosting in-person workshops and focus groups as well as conducting interviews with key individuals in the food system and in the agricultural community. There's also an opportunity for some online engagement through the Let's Connect platform. We're going to also be meeting with provincial agencies because all of these issues around emergency planning and also watershed and water planning necessarily involve different levels of government. So that's the engagement in a nutshell. In terms of a timeline, I mentioned that we will be working throughout 2025. We're getting started right away now. Both projects we anticipate being wrapped up in early 2026. So that means we're not rushing, and there is going to be ample opportunities both in terms of time frame and frequency for people to get involved. So if people are too busy right now, there will be other opportunities throughout the winter and into the spring as well for critical opportunities for involvement. We will be doing a lot of background research in the next few months, as well as starting to pull together some of the numbers, quantifying the needs for livestock emergency planning. The water plan engagement will also be happening over the fall and winter. The food security assessments, both for the Alberni Valley and the West Coast, will be happening in 2025. And then the latter part of 2025 will be when the draft and final reports will be pulled together. And then those final reports will be presented in the winter of 2025 and early 2026. In terms of direct next steps, as I mentioned, I will be in the Alberni Valley in about 2 weeks, September 5th and 6th. I'll be meeting with a few different individuals that have already come forward, such as Doc Plus has offered to give us a tour. We'll be meeting with the Tashot First Nation Council on Thursday afternoon. We've reached out to the City of Port Alberni and the Chamber of Commerce to meet with them as well. But if anybody has any other individuals or folks that you think we should be meeting with early in the project timeline, we're happy to hear that. I'll also be with Amy Needham at the Fall Fair table on the Friday as well. And then hope to come back later in September or early October to do some of those in-person workshops. And then we'll be doing interviews later in the fall as well as farm visits if possible. So that's it in a quick nutshell. My contact information and Amy's is here as well. You can easily Google me too. My number and contact is online. And so if anybody at any time has questions about either project or would like to get in touch, I'm open and available, not just 9 to 5. I'm used to working evenings and weekends. So please don't be shy and reach out anytime. So that's it. And I'm happy to take any questions if you have any. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Does anybody have any questions? No, seeing none. Okay, thank you so much, Ione. And we will, I'm sure if anybody has any questions following this that come up later, you just gave your contact information. So I would encourage committee members to please reach out. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Look forward to seeing you at the fair.
Thanks. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Okay, we are moving right along here. So we are at correspondence for information. Amy, you're laughing. I am. Okay, so does anybody have anything that they want to pull out from the correspondence for information from the agenda? Amy, go for it.
I do. I just wanted to, I know there's a lot in here, but it is summer. So we missed a meeting last month. So it's kind of doubled up. This stuff is important. So at your leisure, when you have time to read, do give it a look. Two things I wanted to point out in particular. The Invasive Species Council BC, they actually published their 2024 to 2028 invasive species strategy. And this is a province-wide strategy. This is an important document. Invasive species, not just plants, there's also aquatic invasive species. They have the potential to really affect things, agriculture, environment, all sorts of stuff. So I do encourage you to give that a read when you have nothing else to do and you want a good read. And the other thing is take a look if you have private land that you're looking to get reforested, take a look at the Caribou Carbon Solutions brochure. There is funding that they have secured to do private land restoration with native species. So if you are looking to reforest areas that have been deforested, then take a look at that and give McKendrick a call. But other than that, it's all good stuff. Read at your leisure and enjoy.
Amazing. Thank you. Lisa?
Yeah, just to point out this Caribou Carbon Solutions, we've just had Pitt Meadows say that they want to increase taxes and stuff like that for land that isn't producing food. So this kind of goes the opposite way of people putting trees back onto their lands. I just want to point that out. Thanks.
Thanks, Lisa. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to pull out for correspondence? Not seeing any. Could we please have somebody make the motion that the Agriculture Development Committee receive items A to E for information? Fred, thank you. Do we have a seconder? Lisa, thank you. And anybody, we're going to vote. Anybody against this motion? No, thank you. Motion passed. Okay, we are going to jump into reports. And we're going to start with the ACRD. Amy, you're up.
Awesome. Thank you, Madam Chair. First thing up is Fall Fair Agriculture Hebrew Volunteering. So we're teaming up in the Van Ypern building again with the wonderful and illustrious Alberni Farmers Institute and the Alberni Valley Food Security Society. So we're all going to be piled in there with really cool displays of people's largest peppers and best baked pretzels and things like that. So if anyone on the committee is interested in volunteering, I'm not going to do a sign-up sheet. I know everyone is super busy, and if you want to fit in an hour and then it doesn't fit on my sheet, then what do you feel like you're doing? So I'm going to be there as much as I possibly can. But other than that, if you want to drop in for an hour, you can just let me know. That would be great, because then I can just note it down in my calendar that I can expect you to show up at whatever hour. But I just listed the times, and then Anna Lewis is the one that has been taken on the agriculture building, just so that Anne has one less thing off her plate. So bless Anna for taking that on. You can contact her if you are interested in volunteering to get your wristband, and she can get you a way to get into the fair so that you're not stopped at the door. So anyone who wants to volunteer, 100%, I'd love to have you, love to visit. It's a great time. Ione mentioned she is going to be there as well. I'm going to be there as much as I can. And it looks like it's shaping up to be really cool. So hopefully some folks can make it out. Other items on my report, I met with Hoopachesit and about the potential of using the Hoopachesit farm for a greenhouse growers course with North Island College. So they are eager to collaborate. It's just the logistics of capacity. So the granting programs that are available allow for different people to apply. So we're working with Hoopachesit to find out if they are going to want to do an Indigenous-based program for Indigenous folks, and then any spots that are not filled by Indigenous people can be filled by other people that have an interest, or we can go the same route as we went for the meat processing course, which is the communities, you can get funding for communities that are impacted by closures of mills and shutdowns of things in the forest sector. remains to be seen how we're going to logistically do this, but I just wanted to give an update that it is in the works and this does have potential. They do have a farm manager, Joanne, that is in charge of the farm, which is really good to have kind of that point person on the ground. As Tanya probably can vouch for, farms don't do very well when someone's not literally on them every day. There was a request from the Agricultural Development Committee last meeting for me to contact the BC Centre for Agritech Innovation to ask if they could actually attend the fall fair with some of their cool stuff. So I met with them twice, and we're just trying to work on, Pat was there as well, and we're just trying to work on getting, kind of figuring out what they do, figuring out when they're going to be on the island. They are looking for engagement opportunities on the island, but they are trying to align with like kind of the maximum number of people at the maximum number of times. So the fall fair didn't line up with anything that they were going to actually be on the island for already, but they are looking kind of further in the fall when people are less busy anyway. So I will keep you updated if there is engagement possibilities. The other thing I am trying to do is contact them about being on a future ADC meeting as a delegation so they can introduce themselves, they can say what they do, they can introduce kind of the initiatives they have going on for agritech innovation and kind of the opportunities. Last thing, so I don't know how many people know, but Island Health actually has a climate change and health department now. So basically what it's focused on is how climate resilience and adaptation intersects with public health. So for example, climate adaptation is how you kind of adjust, you adjust how we live and what we do to cope with the effects of the climate change. Like say if we're going to be having heat waves every year, how do we cope with that by adapting what we're doing? So how people, like especially the elderly, are negatively affected by ongoing and increasing temperatures and heat waves, how to make systemic and long-term changes to allow them to stay healthy if temperatures continue to rise. So I met with their consultant. She's named Savannah Barrett. We had a great discussion on the importance of local food security in climate resilience and public health. She is mapping out social assets that exist for climate resilience and food security. So for example, a social asset for food security might be school gardens, community gardens, the Dog Plus kitchen, a community kitchen where you can produce food in large quantities and actually can it for long-term storage, and so on. So feel free to let me know of any initiatives happening in climate adaptation or resilience, food security that I can pass on to her, because she's trying to get a map in the ACRD of where all of our strengths exist. It's like strengths based. What are the strengths that actually exist? Where are they? How can they all be drawn together? How can we make connections? All that sort of stuff. So the data is going to be useful for our region. I've already confirmed with her that we'll have access to the data when it's done, so that's good. And just to let Lisa and Anna know, I did pass on your contact information. So she might be in contact. She's interested in the Alberni Farmers Institute as an institution and like the good that they do with drawing farmers together and providing that networking, and also all the good work that the Food Security Society is doing. So Savannah Barrett is her name. If you have any questions, you can always contact me afterwards. Just shoot me an email or give me a phone call and we can talk further. But I just wanted to let you know that I did meet with her and it was really an interesting discussion. So that's all I have. If anyone has any questions about anything. Nope, back to you.
Thank you. Okay, City of Port Alberni, Pat, you're up.
First off, apologies for arriving late. Second, the only thing I have to report is that I'm taking part in a meeting with Amy this afternoon with the BC Centre for Agritech Innovation and a company called Terraforma, who have a scalable, smart and scalable composter for organic waste. And really, this is a conversation about the seafood, organic seafood waste at the food hub. So Micah Brugge, Victoria Lake, Eat Canadian Seafood, and their oysters, Effingham oysters, were producing a fair bit of waste, but in conversation with UBC last year, they had said that they couldn't provide a system that would accommodate that small an amount of waste. So we're hoping that Terraforma will have a system that works better. So that's the only thing I have to report.
Thank you. I see Fred's got a question for you here, Pat.
Yeah, Pat, I got a question. So what kind of organic waste are they actually getting? Like, is this like biodegradable material or is it shells? Like, is it like the actual part of the oyster or is it something else?
Uh, at the moment, Fred, it's just the organics, not the shells. We're looking for a possible solution to the shells as well. Any shells that they aren't shipping out. Yeah.
So there's quite a few people on the island that have this problem, and there's multiple solutions to it that already exist. So, for example, I work with a lot of people in Tofino with the aquaculture environment there, and all of their waste product, be it fish guts or fatality fish or whatever, they all get ground up and sent off to Nanaimo, and a lot of it actually goes up to Earthland and Sea in Port Alberni and turned into compost. So you could truck it up there and they'll mix it in their stuff and make compost, and they'll probably take it off your hands for free. So instead of reinventing a solution that already exists in town.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. I'm aware of Earth, Land, and Sea, and we were actually hoping for something that would be more valuable than just straight compost. So that'll be part of the conversation.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
And is anybody? Bye, Tom. I see all your messages. Thank you so much. I realize that you're leaving for another meeting right now. Thanks for being here for as long as you can. Okay, did anybody have any other questions for Pat? Lisa.
Oyster shells. People with chickens like to have crushed shells for chickens to help with the structure of the egg shell. It helps keep them hard. So I don't know if there's something that could be developed for that kind of thing. Thanks.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind as we get into the conversation.
Wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Did anybody else have anything else for Pat? Nope. Okay. We're going down to, Amy, I'm just going to go through our list. And if anybody who isn't here today has sent you an email, do you want to just put your hand up and jump in if you do have anything to report on? Thank you. So School District 70? No. Heather, Helen's not here. Island Health? Tom just left from Ministry of Ag, but everybody in the meeting, you would see in the chat that Tom has added some information and links for things that he would have reported on. Alberni Farmers Institute, Lisa.
Hi guys. Yeah, everybody's been pretty busy this summer. Nobody's had time to get together for meetings and that, but we'll be sending out an email and hopefully we can get a coffee date with a bunch of people that are interested in doing something and volunteering at the fall fair. So yeah, it's busy time for farmers. That's all I got to report.
Wonderful. Thanks, Lisa. Alberni District Fall Fair. Amy, go.
That's my 4-H one. Just a second. I've got multiples going here. Alberni District Fall Fair report. Anna Lewis has graciously offered to oversee the agriculture education portion of the building during the FAR this year. So she will be the go-to person. Any questions you have, her email is in our ADC email out list. So you can find Anna at AV Food in there. Old McDonald's Farmyard is now renamed Old Farmer Bill's Farmyard and will be relocated next to the 4-H barn. 4-H will be overseeing the farmyard. We will have Kid Zone and Yukon Dan gold panning next to the agriculture building with a clear path to the building this year without too many vendors in front. Mount Clitza Garden Club will be situated just as you come into the building. So that is an update from Anne. I'm sure she's run off her feet right now, and it's understandable she couldn't make it today because she's probably just absolutely running around like crazy. Oh, and Anna just clicked on. She's got something to say.
Perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would just say if anyone that's wanting to participate, I do have a timesheet slot. We are going to keep some of the feedback that I got from the Food Security Society and other members is that last year wasn't distinct who was what. It was just a big amalgamation of farm. So that's going to be different this year. It will be more distinct areas, but as we need volunteers, they'll be stuck at whichever table with some speaking points in case there's not an appropriate person there. And then we will have the River Guild that began leading demonstrations, which will be kind of fun. So more interactive and super excited to have a unobstructed access and view of the actual agriculture building. So yeah, but if you want a wristband to be a volunteer, you need to talk to me because I'll be the one overseeing all of that.
Perfect. Thanks, Anna. It was kind of cutting out on my end, but Anna was mentioning that the Alberni Fiber Guild is going to be set up there with demonstrations with their table. Does anybody have any questions for Amy or Anna regarding the fall fair? Nope. Okay, moving on. Anna, you're going to be up next with the Alberni Valley Food Security Society.
I guess the biggest thing is we're just full swing in terms of the one that's
I can't hear you, Anna. I think if we have any questions for you on that one, we will send an email to you.
Anna, if you have a chance, if you just want to send an email to myself or Kristen just with an update, then we can include it in the minutes. Okay. It's just your bandwidth. It's showing your bandwidth is really low and we can't understand you. Oh, is she gone?
It looks like
looks like we lost her.
I think so.
Yeah, I'll email her.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks, Amy. Okay, on next to Eat West Coast, we don't have Erica here today. Anything from Erica, Amy? No. Anything from the New Challenge Tribal Council? Spirit Square Farmers Market? I wasn't there, but I know that they just held a like a kids market last weekend as part of their farmers market, and I had heard that it went really, really well from one of the vendors that I was talking to. Fred, I see you on, and then after Fred, Lisa, go for it.
So I was there. There's lots of kids, lots of activity, lots of marketing, entrepreneurship, lots of different variety of stuff being sold, and I think it will continue on in the future. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks. Lisa?
Yeah, I concur. There's a lot of people down there. I know we did quite well. I pretty much sold out of product that I had taken down. I know Rages did really well. They were quite happy with the day as well. The kids looked like they were having fun. It was really a good day and people are looking forward to another one. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Pat was down there too. Looks good. My kids were bummed. We were at a wedding that day. Okay. Oh. Sorry, guys. I was just getting a call. Port Authority and the Dock Plus. Any updates, Amy, on that one? No.
The only update is just that that's one of the places that Ione and I are hoping to tour when she's here September 5th and 6th. So if Cecilia is available, we're going to try and jump over the Dock Plus because the kitchen is considered quite an important food security asset in the region, having that available for basically anyone who wants to pay a nominal fee and rent it to do food preservation. So I want to make sure that Ione has a good idea of what's capable there and what's coming. And Cecilia is the one for that. So.
Awesome. Amazing.
And just a note about Port Alberni Port Authority. We have put out names for new directors to be added to the list, and Salmon Festival is being re-revived, and we hope to see everyone there. It is the weekend Labor Day weekend, everyone knows that. Okay, bye.
Awesome, thanks, Red. 4-H, anything else on 4-H, Amy? Yes, go for it.
Muted, and then I pulled up the Word document. So Patty couldn't make it today. She's just got a lot of volunteer stuff going on, and I'm sure with the fall fair approaching, she's run off her feet too. So she sent me a wonderful update for her 4-H report. Project meetings have continued over the summer. These are the meetings where members learn about their specific projects and work with their animals. Beef project members have been very active. 2 members attended and showed their project animals at the Coombs Fair, and they did very well considering that was their first show ever. 2 other members showed at the Coombs Fair with poultry and guinea pig projects. Clover Buds, the 6 to 8-year-olds, are learning about home safety, biosecurity on farms, beef cattle, and they toured the Coombs Fair. And plans are underway for all members to show at the Alberni District Fall Fair and hopefully have the dairy bar open and possibly run a petting farm. So it sounds like that's a go-ahead based on what Ann Siddall had said about it being set up next to the 4-H barn. And we're hoping to have an active recruitment campaign this fall for 4-H for 2025 to attract more members. Respectfully submitted, Patty Radcliffe Palmer.
Amazing. That sounds fantastic. Does anybody have any questions for Amy on the email from Patty? Nope. Okay. Marine stakeholders. I don't know if we have any here on the meeting note. And then primary agriculture producers. Me, Lisa, Anna. Lisa or Anna, do you have anything to chime in? And then I'll do an update on what we're doing on the farm.
Yeah. We've been busy moving irrigation and doing all the regular farm chores and stuff like that. So very happy to see the rain and the cooler weather. It's giving us a little bit of a reprieve. We've been busy with the beef. We can't seem to keep it in the freezer. As soon as we get a beef, we've got a few people on waiting lists. So I don't have much for tonight, but I think I've got 2 packs of ground beef left for your Margaret tonight, Tanya, and a few other pieces, but yeah, it's been good but busy. So yeah, thanks.
Anna, I know you were struggling with audio here, so maybe if you have anything to chime in from your producer hat, if you want to throw it in the chat, that would be great. And then I will jump in with a report from Shannon Farms. We held our annual Gather and Graze dinner at the end of July this year. We added a second night to see how it would go. And it went really well. We sold 87 out of a total of 96 seats. And dinner was fantastic. We sourced like 90% local ingredients, again, from producers, from produce to proteins. We worked with Notorious Seafood and Eat Canadian Seafood for the seafood for the event. We had really good feedback again. We've picked our dates for next year of August. Sorry, and I'm just seeing Sel. I don't know what you're so we picked our dates for next year of August 15th and 16th. Oh, Anna has sold out of all her produce from her farm. Thank you, Anna, for the update. And so we thanked all our guests from this year and just said we had picked our date for next year. And from our guests that attended, we are about 75% sold out for 2025 already, which is so cool, like on a producer end, to see that people are enjoying the event and they want to come back. As Lisa just alluded to, and why we are hustling through this meeting today is because we are hosting a on-farm farm market here at the cabin tonight from 5 to 8 p.m. with a number of producers in the valley. So we're busy setting up for that today. And we've added one more like on-farm culinary event that's happening on September 7th. It is Fall Fair weekend, but we're doing a more casual version of our gather and graze. We're calling it Heifers and Hors d'oeuvres because we're doing a small bites night on the farm, and we have Celise from Grassroots catering this event. And it's the same idea. We want to highlight local agriculture and seafood, so that's what her menu is going to be based around. And Antidote Distilling is doing bar service, so we have tickets available. They will be $100 each. I will have them at our market tonight. If anybody's interested, they'll include all your food for the evening, and then a welcome tasting from Cherry Creek Cidery apple cider that's local in the valley. And on the farm end, it was a better year the last couple of years for hay and silage and just keeping the grass green and the cows happy. But that's all going well. And if anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer. Otherwise, we are at the end of reports for this meeting. And seeing none, we will look at the motion that the ADC committee accept these reports A-0 for information. If we have somebody move it, Fred, thank you. And a seconder. Lisa, thank you. Anybody opposed? Awesome, passed. And do we have any late business to add to this meeting? Amy, go for it.
I just saw Anna's update, so I just wanted to let everyone know so it makes it into everyone's ears and onto the minutes that Family Farm Day is always the Sunday after Fall Fair. So just to let everyone put it on their calendar to Family Farm Day is going to be the 15th of September from 11 to 3. You can check out the Alberni Valley Food Security Society website for the farms that are participating and directions on how to get there and all sorts of stuff. But it's a great thing that we organize every year. Anna is amazing and she does that so well. And it was super fun last year and it's going to be fun again this year. So hope to see everyone there.
Awesome. Thanks, Amy. Any other items for late business? No? Okay. Question period. Kristen, do we have any questions or comments from the public?
No, nothing in the responses email and no questions in the Zoom chat or in the question section.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I see our next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th at 9:30 a.m. via Zoom. And if nobody has anything else, we will be looking for a motion to adjourn. Fred, thank you. Seconder? Lisa? Awesome. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining our meeting this morning, and have a good August. If you're looking for something to do tonight, we have a market on the farm from 5 to 8 p.m.
Thank you, Tanya. You're an awesome chair. Thank you for stepping in. We appreciate it.
No
See you
problem.
later. Thanks.
Good
Have a
luck
great
at
rest
the
of your
market
morning.
tonight. See you.
Thanks, guys.
Adios.
Bye.